Welcome to The Right Stuff. I'm Sheena, and with me today is Tamara. This time we're talking about
tips to creating your author brand.
Last week we chatted about why you need an author brand. This week we're talking about how to make one.
So, first up is if you haven't listened to last week's podcast, go back and listen to it. In it, we discuss everything you need to know about what is a brand, what is an author brand, and why you need one.
Yes, so if you haven't listened to that, go listen to that, then march on back this way and come listen to this one.
It will help make this one a lot clearer, so
Yes.
go do it.
Do it now.
Okay, so step one in creating your author brand.
Yes.
Step one is knowing what you're going to write.
Are you talking genres or broad strokes, or are we talking like very, very specifically?
We're talking all of it. And I know that's a big answer. Okay, but I think it's enough to caption under one headline here. So know what you're going to write. And this includes you guys who already are authors. So especially if you haven't quite cemented your niche yet. So start with your genre. What genre are you going to write in? What subgenre are you going to write in? Yeah, and what's going to make you special in that genre?
So if you want to write romance, or you're going to try to be the next Melissa Braden, I don't think you should, because Melissa Braden is already a pretty good Melissa Braden.
Don't copy anyone. Find what makes you unique and your writing unique. Not only will it be better, but you'll also have a lot more sustainability with it.
I'll give you an example. Melissa Braden and Kiki Archer pretty much write in the same genre, but their books are worlds apart. Kiki Archer is much funnier, she's much more kind of irreverent, she's a much lighter read almost. Not that Braden's particularly serious, she's very sweet romances, but not at all the same thing.
Okay, so what do you want to write, or what are you writing? Cement that down. If you need to, write down a list of points that you always want to hit. Tape that up over your desk or something, so that you have a guide to look back to.
Are you talking here, for example, I always want to include an ice queen.
Yes.
I always want to make sure that they have a dramatic ending.
Definitely.
I want to make sure that they have a happy ever after.
Well, that's an important one. Look at the tropes of the genre that you're writing in and choose which ones you want to focus on. For romance, are you going to be a happy ever after author, or are you going to be a happy for now author? I'm speaking in the most general terms. Alright, so the second point is who will be reading your work?
Your audience. Who are they?
Exactly. Because your audience plays a huge role in the creation of your brand. If you're writing for sporty people and your characters are going to, or your books are going to center around sport, that's very different than if you were trying to communicate or write for people who love shopping and makeup and lipstick. So
Absolutely.
So you have to create your brand with your audience in mind. You have to create a brand that's going to mesh with them. So number 3, how are you going to be different from your competitors? So we touched on this on how you're going to write, but exactly what about you is super different from everyone else? Because you don't want to create a book or a brand that's run of the mill.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if you're writing romances, what is it? Like, I know an author that I like, she has a hint of magic in her books, and I love that. It creates, I don't know, a little bit of fantasy, but in, a normal everyday setting, and I really like the way that works. So for me, that sets her books apart from anyone else.
Okay.
So what about your books is going to be different? Okay.
And here, do something that you're naturally inclined towards, because after your 20th or 30th book or whatever it is, if you're not still enjoying and not naturally inclined towards that, you're going to want to pull your hair out.
So then, number 4 is, what is your style guide? This is all basically about your tone, the personality, and the way that you write. And not just in terms of your books, but also your engagement with readers in social media, in person. How do you communicate? What kind of personality do you have? Are you a romantic? Are you serious? Are you ditzy?
If you look at the Lesbian Review, I made very sure that my brand is always positive. We don't do negative reviews. We don't say negative things. We just don't do anything negative. We don't put that out into the world.
Okay.
We delete negative people from the group. We keep things positive. As a result, what's happened is we create a happy, friendly, excited place to be. And that was a very specific decision on my part.
Okay. If you look at authors, someone like Kiki Archer, she's really fun, she's really vivacious, and this same tone is in her books as well as her social media interactions. In fact, even her YouTube videos, or if you watch her at a local like book show or something, she has a very specific personality that she uses throughout. Okay, so that's her style guide. Now, again, write down your style guide and put it up next to what you're writing so that you can always reference, are you communicating always in the correct way?
Pick something that's relatively close to you as a normal person and then just amp that up. I don't like negativity, and so for me that was a natural choice. I don't want to put that out into the world.
And then just keep in mind that if you're going to go for something that's very light-hearted and you're using this under your author name, then make sure that if you're communicating on your author platforms, on social media, for example, that you don't address issues that are not in line with this. So if you're super light, don't address politics. It's not within brand.
Absolutely.
Okay. So,
in fact, that's generally a good a good guide. Don't get involved in political discussions as a creative. I just don't think it's a good thing. You're going to lose readers.
Yeah, not unless you've got like a really strong brand and you're
a political brand.
Well, not just political brand. Look at J.K. Rowling. She addresses some heavy issues in the most amazing way, and it doesn't take away from her brand. But she's super established, and I think she's also really good at knowing who she is.
Yes, but J.K. Rowling is just a little bit magic.
She is. Okay, that takes us into number 5, our tagline or elevator pitch.
Okay.
Now, when I'm talking tagline, I'm not talking simply about, just do it or whatever that normal brands have. What I'm talking about is, can you distill what you do into one sentence? So, hi, I'm Tamara, and I do podcasts or whatever it is.
Okay.
I'm so and so, and I write light romances. Obviously, a little bit more involved in that, but can you do that for what you do? No one needs a half an hour long explanation of what's in your books. If you can do that, it means that you've distilled your brand into something that's easily communicated. So your tagline, think about it, and again, write it on a post-it note, stick it up there with your style guide and the other thing.
We review great books.
Exactly. It's an awesome tagline. Number 6.
Yes.
Create a logo. A logo is just a great thing that you can use across all your website, business cards. If you do bookmarks, you can even use them in your books. It creates a visual something that people can recognize across different media and they can associate with you.
You really think?
Yes.
That authors should have a logo?
Yes, I do.
Well, I suppose Stephen King novels will have a very specific font that they write Stephen King in.
Even if you think about publishing houses will have logos. If you see a logo for a certain thing, like say a penguin, it's penguin. I know that's on the nose, but... Okay. So, you don't have to use it on everything, but you should. But it'll just make you easily identifiable.
Okay.
Next up is create a headshot. So a headshot, for you who are not in the know, is simply a photograph of you from, about waist up, shoulders up.
Yeah.
Okay. Professional photograph that you can use for sending out to reviewers, to the news, whatever it is that you're going to be using it for. You can use it on the back of your book, you can use it on your professional profiles. It's always good to have something where you look good. Remember, you're a product. We don't want a selfie.
Use the same photo on your Twitter, on your Facebook,
on your
website, and I'll tell you why. So that when reviewers like me are looking for your Facebook profile and there's 8 Kim Kardashians, then I can see which is the real one.
Yes. But that's the thing. Again, it's another point of visual reference that helps you recognize someone.
Mm-hmm.
And a pet hate of mine is is this so-and-so author? And you can't tell because even if it is a picture of the person, it's I don't know, they've got a drink in their hand and it's slightly dark, or they've got sunglasses, or they're obscured by their dog.
And if it's not the same as like your Twitter, which I can find easily, then I don't actually know if it's you.
Yes.
That's why I say use the same picture.
Yes.
And stick to a picture, because if you change your author picture too frequently, people are not going to recognize you and your comments.
Exactly. Yeah, so keep it clean, keep it professional looking. Okay. So next is a website.
Oh, please, yes.
Have a website.
Have a contact us page on your website, please.
It doesn't matter if you've got Facebook or Twitter or an Amazon page or a Goodreads page. As an author, you need a website. Imagine if Coca-Cola said, nope, I don't need a website, I'm famous enough. Or, hey, they can just go to Amazon and find my product and buy it, so I don't need a website. That doesn't work.
Not at all.
As a business, you need an online head office, hub, whatever you want to call it, that is for you. Your website you own, you've got full control of content. If you're capturing email addresses, all of that belongs to you. It doesn't belong to Facebook or Twitter or Amazon, it belongs to you. So go get your website.
And for people like me, I put links to websites, Facebook and Twitter. So when our reviews go up and my reviewers can't find a website for an author, it just kind of makes you look a little less professional.
I mean, and you don't need to have a super huge website. You just need to have something that, you know, lists your books, has a little bit of information about you, has a contact page.
Your website needs an About Us, which gives a history of you. It can be a brief one. How did you get into writing and why do you write what you write? A Contact Us, which please give me an email address that I can contact you on. Don't just put a form that goes into the middle of nowhere and I can't get hold of you. Also on that page, put your Twitter link, put your Facebook link. And you should be on at least those two social media platforms.
And then the last thing is have a media kit available. So your media kit, again, should have your bio, it should have your headshot, and if you have your latest book out, a press release on your latest book, a synopsis of your latest book, or maybe even one document with all your synopses, whatever the plural is, as well as your contact information.
The cover of your book.
Yes.
All super useful. And if you've got that on your website under a tab called press, yay, we like that.
Yeah, and then you can just use that for any press that you need to send out. You can send it out to reviewers. You can, I don't know, use it for whatever you need to use it for. But you have it ready. You've got professional marketing material ready.
Yes.
Okay, so that's it. Those are the tips to starting an author brand.
Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of The Right Stuff tomorrow. I think you've given the listeners more than enough information, so I can hear heads exploding in the background there. Come and join us on the Lesbian Talk Show chat group on Facebook. Don't forget to rate this podcast and subscribe on iTunes, Podbean and Stitcher. I'm Sheena.
And I'm Tamara.
Bye!
Communicable, no? No, I think that's to do with diseases. Communicate it.
Yes, we don't want any diseases.
Number 6.
Yes.
Create a logo.
Yes, Tamara. That's a great idea. I have been begging Tamara for the last 3 years to create a logo for me.
You're a shoemaker's child.
Okay.
Okay, so create a logo. So do as I say, not as I do.